Hi, everyone. Welcome to the new episode of the show. I'm Greg.
And I'm Mike.
And this week we played Adventure Island for the original Nintendo.
Hudson's Adventure Island.
Yes, you need to know that it's Hudson's Adventure Island. Otherwise, if you're trying to find it alphabetically in a list of ROMs like we were, you'll never find it. I was like, how do I not have this? How do I have 2, 3, and 4, but I don't have the first one? Well, if you alphabetize it as Hudson's, that's why.
Yes, we both had that problem looking for it.
Yeah. I'm glad that we were able to independently resolve it, too.
Mm-hmm.
So what did you think of this game, Mike?
Okay. Here's what I think about this game. It is a wonderful idea, poorly executed. I think they tried to do too many things in one game, and it just did not work.
I feel that they kind of did a good job on it, but I found it so boring. Like,
Yes.
Basically, first of all, it's a speedrun game. Like that's
Yes.
it. The game is just a speedrun.
Mhm.
So it's kind of Mario-esque. It's got that platformer feel, but you can't stop moving and you have to constantly catch the fruit. And if you get that friggin' skateboard, good luck, because now it's a super speedrun.
Well,
And
that was my problem with it, was that it seemed like it was like, let's kind of be like Mario, except they kind of set it up like it was Sonic the Hedgehog.
yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the way he moves, you're supposed to continually move at a certain speed,
mm-hmm.
and you can't stop yourself. But the level designs are made for Mario, where you're supposed to stop and figure out where you're going
Yeah.
or what to do. So, like, okay, here's an example. The first water board, right before the end, there are a bunch of clouds, and they drop or they lift or whatever they are. Except that it doesn't. Some of them don't. So the last one, right before the whatever the cliff is, I went to go jump, but it lifted, so I just jumped and stood on it and then fell off.
Yeah. That happened to me a bunch of times. Or there's other ones where it drops when you don't know it's going to drop. There's so much of it that is just memorization, which is why it's
Yeah.
such a speedrun game.
Yeah.
And go on.
And the biggest problem about that is that that's fine, but it was optimized for his running. Like, if you're running, you're fine.
Uh-huh.
But like you said, that you get that skateboard, and immediately everything becomes harder, and you just end up putting the brakes on the entire time,
Yeah.
trying not to hit something, and then you hit the brakes on a part that you're like, oh, this is exactly like it was before, and you hit something.
Yeah.
And you end up dying, and then if you didn't get the item in the beginning of the game, or you don't know what to do, you're screwed. You have to start over.
Well, that's like one of the biggest things. This game doesn't have... Well, it has a life system, but it doesn't have a continue system. But you kind of, like the first Super Mario Brothers, you have a key combination that will allow you to continue from the world that you died on. But if you one time forget to do that, you're starting from the beginning. And there's no password system, there's no warp zones, which is unlike Super Mario Brothers. And to me, that's kind of game breaking.
Yeah, it killed it for me, because I wouldn't mind going through a repetitive game because the game isn't that hard. The
Yeah.
bosses aren't hard, the enemies aren't hard, the mechanics aren't hard. It's just frustrating when you like go to take a sip of your drink and the continue screen ends.
Yeah.
And you're like, shit, I have to do 5 worlds again.
Yeah.
Which is what happened to me and made me stop. I was like, I'm done. I'm just gonna watch a walkthrough online to see if I missed anything big. And if I did, I will go back and play it. And guess what? I didn't.
You didn't? I didn't check anything.
Didn't miss. No,
Well,
I looked it online, but I didn't miss
wanted-
anything big.
I want to pause here for 1 second. Did you beat the game?
No.
Me neither. And I didn't not beat it because I couldn't. I didn't beat it because I didn't want to. I didn't
Exactly.
care. Even knowing we were going to do the show and I was going to have to tell everyone that I didn't beat the game, I still didn't care. I wonder if
Yeah.
we were streaming it, if that would have been any different. Maybe so.
No,
because we
'cause
would
you know
have
what?
time to kill.
But it's also, we would have been there together and being like, we have to do this. And we would have remembered. We wouldn't be, two of us, we wouldn't be taking sips of drink and missing it. We wouldn't have to go answer a phone call.
True.
You know what I mean?
You get breaks.
Exactly. And it's, first of all, for everyone listening, if you are new to us or the show or whatever it is, Greg does not do this. Greg will beat the game even if he hates it. Go
That's
online
true.
and watch our Ghouls and Ghosts or Ghosts and Goblins.
Ghosts and Goblins.
Ghosts and Goblins playthrough where I leave and he finishes it.
And that was brutal. Yeah, and I hated it too. But I was just really determined. And that's how I usually am. But with this game, I beat the fourth world, and I was just like, if I could continue later, maybe I would. But I don't feel like playing anymore now, and I don't feel like turning it off and playing through these first four worlds again, because there was a couple of moments that were just like, holy shit, I'm glad I got through that, and I never have to get through it again, because I hated that part.
Well, like, one of the parts I hated that made me go like, I don't want to do this again. And it's a very easy part, but the timing of it's annoying, because it's, what's the word I'm looking for? Deceiving.
Uh-huh.
Is that first cave level. And those bats that come down, and you have to jump at the right times and throw your... And if you don't time it right, you're done. Doesn't matter. You don't get... It's unforgiving, this game is also unforgiving.
Yeah.
You get hit once, you're done.
That's the thing, no energy system at all, which is annoying. And I'm not even complaining like, oh, it's too hard, it's not fair. It just makes it not fun because you have to do everything perfectly, which makes it a memorized game.
I mean, we were talking about this game earlier, kind of, but it's a similar thing to the game BioShock Infinite had a mode once you beat the game called 1999 mode, which meant that you would start the game, it would be on the hardest difficulty, ammo drops would be less, your health would be less, and enemies would take more damage. And when you died, unless you filled up your money, because in that game money meant something, if you didn't have any money, you went back to the beginning of the game. But that is an extra mode.
Right.
This game does it from the beginning.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just like, sorry, you just gotta do it over again. And it doesn't give you any clue as to what the items you're picking up do. Fruit,
well, that's
the
also...
fruit, I get it.
We don't have the instruction manual, which I actually should have looked up because I do usually do that. But there is one item that I thought was really cool. I don't know if you ever found this because it only came up, I think, once for me. It was a Nintendo controller, but it's actually the original Famicom controller. They didn't change the graphic, even though we were playing the American version of it. So it's that red, kind of wide-looking controller, and I don't know what it does when you pick it up, but
That's
I
the
liked
thing.
it.
Well, I think also my point of view comes from a more modern perspective where they will teach you how to do things in the game.
Yeah.
Whether it be an overdone training part or yelling at you every 5 seconds of the game, but it tells you what things are.
Yeah.
And the game back then, they had the booklet and they're like, well, put it in the booklet, it'll be fine. But the standout games of that generation still did it in the game. Mario did it in the game.
Yeah.
You got a mushroom, you got bigger. Cool. Okay, I got a fire flower. I shot things. That was it. There was nothing in Zelda, Mario, Sonic later on that didn't telegraph to you exactly what it did the second you got it.
It's true.
And if you're not paying attention, you wouldn't know what the fruit was doing until you actually looked at it.
Yeah.
Other than that, the items seem completely useless. Other than that one, the invincibility thing.
The invincibility thing actually reminds me so much of Mickey Mousecapade. Remember that?
Uh-huh.
When you get the fairy and that's the invincibility. It's the same kind of thing. And honestly, this game, the way it feels and even looks, reminds me of that game a lot.
Yeah, it's like the kind of second tier. The graphics aren't as processed as a Mario or Zelda is.
Wasn't quite all there, but it was a step up from Atari, so it was good enough.
The background is just blue.
Yeah.
There's no cloud. It's just blue. There's no depth. What was I gonna say? Oh, and there's a lot of things in this game that feel like afterthoughts. Like, oh crap. Like the invincibility.
What do you mean an
escape.
afterthought?
Like, so I think they made this game and they're like, well, let's make it so they can go faster. Let's give them a skateboard, but they didn't change the level design at all.
Right, so having a skateboard
And-
just makes it impossible to beat certain parts.
Exactly. And then the invincibility is like, oh crap, now we screwed this up with the skateboard. We need to give him invincibility at certain parts. Because otherwise you're not getting through.
Yeah, I could see that.
And I think it's what Hudson, did they make a game before this? Because from what I was looking at, it looks like they made it first. Like that was like one of the first ones they did.
Well,
Hudson Soft.
I'm not sure. I could look into that. But actually, let's see here. Here's what I do know. I'll start with that. I know that this was originally a port of Wonder Boy, which was a Sega game in the arcade. And it was supposed to just be a direct port of that. And then I think during development, something happened with Hudson not getting the rights to it because it was Sega on a Nintendo system. So they just said, fuck it, and they changed the name, changed the name of the character and everything to Master Higgins, which is just weird. And I don't like the character. I know some people probably really like it, but there's something weird about it. It looks like, and I don't know if this is just the graphics, it looks like he has a mustache. Is it supposed to be a mustache?
I don't know. Well, here's the thing.
Or he spilled some gravy on his mouth. It's one of those two things.
Well, in all the game art, if you look at like promotional things, he doesn't have a mustache, so.
That's so weird. He always looks like a weird guy in his underwear, like a fat guy in his underwear with a mustache. That's what he looks like to me, and he can't stop running even when he's standing in place.
Yeah.
It's just weird.
And then later on, the other games which I've played before are along the lines of, they kind of jump up in quality, it seems.
Oh,
because
like,
I remember being on
all the sequels.
Yeah, because I remember them from like Nick Arcade and things. But they were more like Bonk and those kind of games, where they weren't as well polished as the later platformers, but they were still good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Chuck Rock, those games.
What did you think of the bosses?
Do you mean the boss?
More accurate.
The knock the head off and that's it. Also, obviously, cutting corners, you knock the head off the boss and then he disappears, reappears with his head, and jumps off screen.
Yeah, very weird. I mean, I don't want to over criticize the game for like that. The fact that it was kind of old, but it just felt like if they tweaked a few things, it would have been fun. Honestly, a password system, and I would have beaten the game. Not because it would have made it easier, but because I would have just stopped and started again like the next day. Super Mario Brothers, yeah, you could potentially just get good at it and beat all 32 levels of it straight, and we've done that. But if you are just casually playing, it's nice that if I've beaten the first 3 worlds already, that I can just warp to the 4th one. Because that's what I feel like playing now. You know, it's not like a stage select, but at least it lets you hop around a little bit so that you don't get so sick of those first few worlds. And in this game, the worlds, which actually areas, that's actually the name, are like, you don't go, oh, world 2 or area 2. I miss that area. And I feel that way in the Mario games. Like, I actually do miss levels and I want to play them again. In this, it's like every time I beat a level, I was like, thank God. Like, I did,
because they're literally the same 4 types. It's like jungle, ocean, cave, and then like a palace, which sometimes had ice.
Yeah.
That's it.
Oh, so
and they just
boring.
revolve in different order, like start in the water level and go to a cave, and then go to the island, and the next one's the island, it goes to the cave, and then goes to the water, and then it starts in the island, and goes to the water, and it goes to the cave. It wasn't well done. They could have, I feel like it was, I think they were trying to be more like an arcade game.
Well, yeah, that's exactly what it was.
Where you just gotta keep going and pumping your quarters in, and they were too new at making games to be like,
oh wait,
no,
this is a console game.
Yeah, it's a different thing.
Scores don't really matter.
Yeah. And I remember the first time I saw ice, I'm like, oh, they're changing it up. And then it's not like it's a nice world.
Yeah, exactly. A couple of the enemies that I couldn't stand. I hated the frogs. I eventually memorized their pattern, and a lot of there was something I can't even remember, but like you walk up to it and just sort of let it hop, like pause in front of it. Kind of like a Ninja Gaiden enemy. A lot of this stuff was very Ninja Gaiden-y with the enemies. They have the same exact pattern, and once you understand them, then you could blow through it.
And that's fine, but you go so fast through the level that most of the time you're just like, kill it! Like, you don't learn it. Like, the first time you see that frog, it doesn't move.
Yeah.
And then every other one jumps. So the first 5 you see, you die.
Yeah.
Because you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know if one's going to stay still.
I didn't like the spiders, and my least favorite, we already discussed the bats. My least favorite enemy were those jumping fish.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's always during an annoying platforming part, and you have the squid that are, going up and down, but then you have those long, I don't know what kind of fish you call them. That would dive through. Oh, so irritating.
I thought I could jump on it like Mario and the Dolphins. You can't.
Yeah, I can't do that. You can't even kill them. Well, you could shoot them.
Which gives me another thing that I think was an afterthought was the weapon system.
Yes, I'm glad you're bringing this up.
Oh, you get it upgraded because you can't do anything with the regular one, and you realize it's too hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. You need to be able to kill some things in one hit.
So first, when you first start, you don't have a weapon.
No.
And then you pick up was it a hammer?
An axe, I think.
An axe? It's
a tomahawk.
Whatever it is. Yeah, it's something like that. Whatever it is. And it works on that stupid arc. And then you could upgrade it again. Right?
You get the little fire.
But I almost never did.
I almost continuously had the fire.
Really? I continuously used the, whatever it is, hammer axe. There was only a handful of times where I got the fire. It almost never happened. I picked up the skateboard a lot, just because I am insane.
I avoided it at almost every point I could.
Yeah, overall, this game, it's not the kind of game. I'm glad that I kind of get it now, and I feel like it's a game a series that people talked about a lot that I never really got it. And now that I've played it, I'm like, all right, I know that series, but I just don't really care about it. And I'm almost relieved that I don't, because I never liked it watching it. And it would have felt like a hypocrite a little bit if I was like, oh, actually, it's awesome. But no, I'm still fine with just leaving the series alone.
Yeah,
Maybe
I would do other
sequels.
games. I would do it in other games because I know they changed a lot. And I think it's a lot more fun. Oh, not fun, fun-loving. It stopped being so intense, I think. But I don't know, because I haven't played them in years.
Yeah, maybe I should try them out a little bit. But,
they're famous games for a reason.
Yeah, I guess that's true. I think they're also notoriously difficult.
Yeah.
I think that... See, now, I can't really comment too much on the difficulty, because... Yeah, it wasn't easy beating those first 4 areas, but most of it was just... memorizing, like those stupid raccoon things that come flying behind you and sort of getting a feel for jumping over them.
Yeah.
But
it's a repetitive thing. You just have to keep playing it and getting used to it.
Yeah, persistence beats the game. And I don't enjoy games where you beat it just because you didn't quit. Like, I want a game that's like you have to figure it out in some way.
Yeah, like you said it before. It's it was based on an arcade game. It's made to be an arcade game, and it's not.
Right.
It's a console game, which is why it's not good.
Yep. And like I said, if there was a Game Genie code or anything that would allow me to skip ahead, then I would have played around a little bit more with this, just to be able to comment on the difficulty, because I'm sure, like, the 7th and 8th worlds are pretty difficult.
Yeah.
I just don't care to experience it. I don't know. I honestly felt that way about Ghosts and Goblins. The only thing that was really motivating me to beat that is because it's so notorious for its difficulty, and it was like...
Yeah.
All right, we've beaten so many hard games. I need to beat this one.
Yes.
I don't really feel that way about this one.
It's the way I describe some people. They inspire no empathy. And this game inspires no empathy. You have nothing about it. There's nothing about this game that makes you go, I want to go back there.
Yeah.
I want to help it. I want to play it. I want to beat it. No, you just want to stop.
There are difficult games that we beat. And I've mentioned it a million times. I'm going to mention it again. Bucky O'Hare is one of them, where it was so hard. And when we beat it, we were like, holy shit, I can't believe we beat that. Yet,
that was,
I have this, like, oh, I want to go back there again a million times kind of feeling when I think about it. Whereas with this, it's just sort of like, oh, glad it's over. That's a terrible way to feel about a game.
Yeah, and I'll bring this up because I think it matters when you're talking about old games, because a lot of people will say, oh, I love this game because I played it as a kid, or whatever it is, or there's a lot of people, especially now with retro games becoming such a thing, that they go, oh, I love playing old games because of nostalgia. Well, no one has nostalgia for this game. There, you know what? That's hyperbole.
It's obviously not true.
Yeah,
but it is not
like,
as
if I go
revered.
back and play Super Mario 3, which I never beat as a kid, I only actually finally beat it when I raced you.
Right.
But it still was something that I will pick up and play anytime of my entire life. I will pick up and play that game because it wants you to like it.
And just imagine how many times did that game make you like curse at it?
Yeah.
And you still feel that way. That's a sign of a good game.
And this game isn't that.
Yeah.
And that's the best review you can give to someone. It's not a game you want to play again.
Yeah.
Even if you haven't beaten it, it's just like, I don't want to be here.
Exactly. And
It's like those, yeah.
I really wish there were just a couple of tweaks that would have made me want to play it again. But they're just not there, and so I don't.
If the game was just not constant motion.
Constant motion, no health bar at all, constant
Well,
memorizing.
there's the time. It's the time bar.
Yeah.
Is kind of your help. I get what you're saying. But yeah, just the constant motion I'd be okay with. Just take that out, that game now works.
Yeah, the one-hit deaths with no actual continues or passwords, that's annoying to me.
Yeah. So, overall reaction to this game is a
Yeah.
not-
Now, just so that we don't totally sit and bash it, are there any things about it that you enjoyed?
I like the aesthetic of it, and I think it got better as the games went on later on, is from what I've seen. I like the weapon upgrading. I think that's something that's pretty revolutionary for the time. Other than Metroid.
Yeah.
I mean, there are games that did it, but a game like that instead of giving you different power-ups, just let you upgrade as you went along. I like there are secret items that you can find.
Yeah, and they also
yeah.
are very similar to Mickey Mousecapade in that a lot of times you have to sort of like shoot the air and break
Yeah.
something open for the thing to pop out.
And the level design itself, like, even though they're boring, they're not horrible. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The levels start out really easy, get a little harder, have one really hard part, and then you're done.
Right.
Like,
Yeah, I thought
they're
that was well
paced well if running wasn't there. So those are the positives for me.
I liked that.
And it felt good. The movement felt good. As much as it was annoying the way it
Right.
worked.
You're getting at what I'm going to say.
Yeah,
actually.
you weren't like jump.
Yes.
You just hit the button, it worked, it flowed nicely, you could get used to it.
The controls are very simple. I thought that the jump mechanic was responsive enough that you didn't feel like if you died that you had to blame the game. It felt like it's my fault if I lose, and to me that's a good control system.
Yeah.
There are a couple of moments where, you don't feel that way, but for the most part you do. I could think of other games where the platforming and controls are so horrible that it's a miserable experience. Platforming in the Double Dragon games is awful. Great example of that. But this one, it at least felt good. Not good like Mega Man good, but it felt good enough.
Somewhere in between a Double Dragon and a Cool Spot.
Yeah.
Somewhere in between there.
That's a good way to think of it. There's something else I liked, and this is just my own total bias, is the overall, like, extreme Nintendo graphical feel.
Yes.
It screams that, it definitely has that nostalgia going for it, where it has such a Nintendo feel.
Now, you don't play on them anymore, but when I play on a CRTV, it just looks right.
Yeah.
It moves and looks right, and you just, it's satisfying.
Yep, I know what you mean.
It's almost like using an emery board or something. Like, it moves smoothly, but you can see the rough edges.
Yeah, exactly.
It's nice.
Something
it's like the
about
hum of a
Nintendo
harmonica. It's a solid note, but you can feel the teeth on it a little bit. You can feel the roughness, but it's nice. It's like humming. You can feel the inertia, but it's good. I like it.
Yeah. I will have to bash one more thing before we end.
My haircut.
I wish I could bash your haircut. It's worse than your haircut.
I know.
I think this is part of the reason I needed to turn it off. I couldn't stand the repetitive music.
Yeah. Yes.
over and over. Just like, come on, give me a little variety.
Well, that's what you get when people try to make a kind of just a throwaway title where they don't have any kind of stake in it almost. And
Yeah.
it's another thing, the game doesn't build empathy for it. You don't want to like it.
Yep.
And music is a big part of that.
Yeah, that's
A
true.
quarter of Mario's appeal is the music.
Yeah.
And even that only has 3 songs, the original
But you don't
Mario.
get sick of them. This I got real sick of quick.
Well, it's also bad. So,
Yeah. By the way, another little thing. The egg system. I thought that was a little weird.
What are they supposed to be? You know what? I think they're supposed to be dinosaur eggs. Because in later games, you get a dinosaur.
Oh, I thought the egg thing was weird. The fact that you have to like bump into it, and then sometimes it lands in a spot that's just horrible to collect
Or like
the item in.
or they show up behind you while the screen is scrolling.
Yeah, there's that
And
one
you're like,
level. It's like the ice one.
Yeah, there's also like
And there's an
death
evil
eggs.
egg. Yeah, exactly.
That just pops up. You have to know to jump over it.
See, this goes back to that whole you have to memorize it to beat it kind of thing, and that's not fun to me.
Yeah, no, it's not at all.
Yeah. Anyway,
So I give this, like I said, I give this a out of 10. I think.
yeah, I'm not even going to try and rate it or anything. I overall just didn't enjoy it enough to recommend it or to play it again. If someone told me they like it, I'd be like, all right, whatever. I wouldn't tell them they're absolutely crazy.
Do you also like BDSM? Do you like to get beat up? Do you like tied up or something?
Do you like high heels on your testicles? Is that
Yeah.
something you enjoy?
Do you want like the sharp edge of the knife in your nostril?
Well, I'm glad that we sort of got this one out of the way. So this is our 3rd episode, and I felt that like the first 2 we enjoyed so much, and it was only a matter of time before we hit a game that we didn't really like. I'm hoping next week's is better.
Me too. Because it was such a chore of like, I don't want to play this. Even
Yeah.
the show, I don't want to play this.
Yeah, what was really funny is when I made that decision to just turn it off, I was like, I'm probably going to be better at it the next time. I bet I could blow through the first 4 worlds now that it's like kind of memorized. So I actually tried like an hour later. I was like, let me try it again. And I beat the first 2 worlds. I don't even think I died the first 2 worlds. And then I was like, I still don't fucking care. And I turned it off.
Yeah, no, it's like you get back with an ex, like, let's just try it. And 2 weeks later, like, nope.
No, that's why. That's why we broke up. That's
Okay.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, no, it's not, I wouldn't recommend it.
No way. Anyway, that's our show for this week, and we'll be back with another game next week. So thanks for listening /watching, and we'll see you soon.
Bye.